The chandeliers were so bright that night you'd think the whole city had been bottled up inside one ballroom. I was moving fast between tables, balancing a silver tray, trying to keep a smile on my face, even though my black catering uniform felt like armor I couldn't take off. The pay was just enough to keep the lights on and cover my little girl's daycare for one more month. I told myself to get through the night. Smile, serve, disappear. That's what people like me were supposed to do in rooms like that. And then I saw him. Marcus Hale, billionaire tech genius, the kind of man people whisper about when he walks into a room. His hair was perfect, his suit worth more than my yearly rent, and yet all I could see was the 17-year-old boy who once promised me forever under the oak trees back home. 15 years since he left me behind for a scholarship and a brighter world I was never part of. I might have looked away, pretended he was just another powerful stranger, if it weren't for the other man, the waiter, with a single glass of champagne. His smile too tight, his grip on the stem too forced. My instincts screamed. And then I saw it, the faintest dust clinging to the rim. Poison. I didn't think I just lunged, sending my own tray crashing to the marble. The glass shattered before it ever reached Marcus's lips. The imposter's face twisted with rage, hand darting inside his jacket. Guests screamed, security swarmed, chaos erupted. I barely registered the slice of glass cutting my palm, blood soaking my glove. Marcus caught my shoulders as I swayed, eyes wide. "Why would you do that?" he demanded, voice sharp, confused. But there was something else in his expression, recognition. Paramedics wrapped my hand. Cops scribbled notes, and Marcus kept staring like the world had just tilted sideways. He offered to pay my medical bills. I snapped, "No." I didn't want his charity, not after what he'd done all those years ago. I walked out with my head high and my hand throbbing, telling myself I'd never see him again. But life has a twisted sense of humor. 3 days later, my daughter Ellie, 6 years old, sharp as a whip, curls bouncing, wandered into the lobby of Hale Industries. She'd been kicked out of the coffee shop while I interviewed next door and drifted toward the big glass building like it was a fairy tale castle. Security pulled her inside, and that's where Marcus found her sitting at the desk, swinging her legs, telling everyone her full name like she was already important. He crouched down, smiled at her, offered to show her the view from the top floor. She said yes, without hesitation. And when I rushed in, panicked, there she was holding his hand, her face pressed to the glass 42 stories up. The look on his face when our eyes met. It was like the gala all over again. Shock, pain, maybe even hope. I wanted to snatch Ellie away, slam the door on him, erase the past. But Ellie had already let him in with her laughter, her endless curiosity. She told him about bedtime stories and princesses who save princes instead of waiting for them. And Marcus listened like every word mattered. That night he called, said he'd spoken to a friend at an insurance company, pulled strings to get me another interview. I wanted to hang up Spitfire, tell him I didn't need him. But I thought about rent, overdue groceries. I stretched thin, Ellie asking for things I couldn't give. Pride and practicality wrestled inside me until practicality won. I took the interview. I got the job. Still, I told him, "This doesn't mean you get to walk back into my life." He nodded too quickly, but he kept showing up. When Ellie caught a fever, he brought soup medicine and sat on the couch teaching her how to stir honey into tea the way his mother once did. She leaned against him like she'd known him forever. My chest tightened because she didn't know who he was. But kids are sharper than we think. One night out of nowhere, Ellie asked Mommy, "Why don't I have a daddy like the other kids?" I froze. She stared at me with Marcus's green eyes, and I knew I couldn't lie forever. I told her the truth, that her father hadn't known she existed. She tilted her head, thought about it, then whispered, "Is it Mr. Marcus?" The certainty in her voice nearly broke me. When she told him herself, his hands stilled in the dishwater. He looked at her, then at me, and whispered, "If I had known, I never would have left." Ellie asked him straight up, "Do you wish you'd known?" And when he said, "More than anything in the world," something shifted. She smiled. She called him Daddy for the first time. "And Marcus," he cried. "It should have ended there neat and tied up, but life doesn't work like that. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight." He offered me a position at his company, head of community outreach, triple the pay. I accused him of trying to buy his way back. He said, "No, I'm trying to earn it. I want to be part of her life. I want to be part of yours." I made demands, real contract job security, no mixing business with whatever personal thing we might or might not rebuild. He agreed without hesitation. For once, he wasn't bargaining from a pedestal. He was just a man asking for a second chance. Ellie, of course, didn't care about contracts. She wanted a daddy who pushed her on swings and came to school plays. Marcus tried. He fumbled sometimes, didn't always know what to do, but he showed up. And that mattered more than anything. Months later, under the same chandeliers where I'd saved his life, he dropped to one knee. Ellie shouted into the microphone, "My daddy has something important to ask my mommy." The whole room laughed and cried as he held out a ring. "You saved my life," he said. "Let me spend the rest of it proving you saved my heart too." I said yes. Through tears, through years of anger, through fear that maybe I was making the biggest mistake of my life. But I said yes. Now people clap when they hear the story. They say it's romantic, that it's fate. But I know the truth. Fate didn't save Marcus that night. I did. And he didn't just get me back because of grand gestures. He got me back because he kept showing up for Ellie day after day. So here's my question for you. Do you think people like Marcus deserve second chances after walking away once? Or should some mistakes never be forgiven? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever seen someone judged too harshly or maybe not harshly enough. And if this story made you feel something, hit subscribe. Because sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought in boardrooms or ballrooms. They're fought inside our own hearts, deciding who we let back in.